when I meet somebody new, whether that's in a personal setting or a professional setting, and they find out that I'm a fee-only financial advisor, guess one of the first questions that they tend to ask me is, "Hey, Azul, what's the secret to becoming wealthy?" And I have a short, kind of trite answer to that. It's solid and it's true, but I also have a deeper, more in-depth answer to that. And in today's video, I'm going to go through the deeper, more in-depth answer because I think it's important. Let's go for a walk and talk about it. So the first one is just your mindset. Becoming wealthy, let's just call it $1 million, saving $1 million is as much a mental challenge as it is a financial challenge. You know, I do believe that if you took 100 people that had been successful financially and you took away all of their resources, you know, I think 70, 80% of them would be able to do it again. And the reason they'd be able to do it again is because of the mindset, right? First off, once you make $1 million, then you believe you can do it. And that's super important. But then also just the mindset of what does it take to create $1 million, right? The trite answer, as I mentioned earlier, is, you know, no matter how much you earn, you need to spend less than you earn, and then one house and one spouse. And is there a way to add more value so that you can get paid more and maybe work fewer hours? So that's the second thing is looking at the value add and how do you skill up if you don't have the skills to make more money. You know, can you coding boot camp in the evenings? Can you learn, you know, it's kind of a side hustle while you're skilling up. And I can share with you one skill that I think a lot of us can do and there's incredible demand for is just copywriting. Any written word that helps with the sales process for a company. All the small and medium-sized companies out there, very, very few of them have more customers than they can handle. So if you can get good at copywriting, that's something you can do from anywhere in the world. You have time flexibility, and there's a lot of people that could use your help. So marketing, communications, copywriting, things like that. Okay. So in addition to, it's not about working harder, right? I talked about the what, the adding the value, but it's also the who. You know, who are you working with? Who is your mentor? Can they open up other doors for you? We talked about the what, the when. You know, do you have flexibility in your timing on that? Let's see, who, what, when, and the why. I think the why is important. That's more for you, but you know, are you motivated by the why? Like helping small businesses get more customers. That's a really cool thing, right? Helping them, because small businesses are the employer of the United States. The middle class of the United States is built on small and medium-sized businesses. So helping them succeed is something, at least for me, you know, I could get passionate about. So I think the why is really important. Okay, so that's the second rule. The first one was mindset. The second one is it's not about working harder. The last thing I'll say about it's not about working harder. There is a harder component to it. It's not enough just to be talented. You also have to put in the work. And I think most people watching my channel are into that. We know, you know, it's about putting in the reps. So even if we're talented, even like I'm not a naturally gifted writer. So I have to work harder when I'm doing writing to get my message out there. It's one of the reasons I have a YouTube channel. I do better talking than I do writing, but we still have to put in our reps. Okay, the next one is building good habits. So number 3 is building good habits, and it's not about trying to 10x in the next 12 months. That'd be nice if it happens, but for most of us, that's not going to happen. I think it's about incremental improvement. It's about every month, every quarter getting 1%, 2%, 3% better. And building the habits that allow us to do that. For instance, you know, having a side hustle, I mentioned that earlier, and skilling up, you have to free up some time in your life in order to do that. So how do you develop the habit or break the habit? Maybe you're watching more television than you want to, and you're like, you know, I could free up an hour or two a day if I quit watching so much YouTube. Don't do that. Or so much television. So how do you break that habit? How do you develop new habits? There's a great book written by an author by the name of James Clear, and it's called Atomic Habits. So I think that's a great book to build on. And spoiler alert, one of the big things is just building new habits on top of existing ones. Silly example, let's say you want to do 100 push-ups a day. So, and you brush your teeth every morning. Okay, before I brush my teeth, I pound out 100 push-ups. Now, I can't do 100 push-ups in a row, but I can do 50. I do 50, I do 25, and then probably 2 sets of 10 and 5. But just stacking those habits on each other. Okay, the other thing is just forgiveness. You know, I was talking about habits and how important habits are, but it's also important that when you fall out of your routine that you forgive yourself. And you also forgive yourself for maybe mistakes that you've made in the past. I think some of my viewers are watching my channel because they want to kind of catch up. Maybe they didn't save as much when they were younger. And so they want to catch up. And I think job number one, if you want to catch up and build your wealth, is not beating yourself up for maybe what you didn't do in your 20s, what you didn't do in your 30s. So just forgiving yourself and being kind, giving yourself grace, giving yourself mercy, and being kind to yourself. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, the next one. I talked about the who earlier. You know, who are you working with? Who are your mentors? What are we at now? Number 5, number 6 is people. You know, just surrounding yourself with good people. And I want to build on what I said earlier about mentors because, you know, we become kind of the sum of our 5, 6, 7 closest friends. So that's a piece of it. Surrounding yourself, thinking, are your friends lifting you up? Are your friends on the same journey, trying to become the best version of themselves that they can be? Or are they holding you back? Or are they kind of negative talking to you? They're trash talking you. They're reminding you of the mistakes that you might have made in the past. And if that's the case, you know, life's too short. We need to have good friends in our life, but the secret there is good. So have the courage. If somebody's holding you back, if somebody's putting you down, if somebody's negative energy in your life, really, how good of a friend are they? So having the right friends in your life, but then also the right mentors. And, you know, I've been fortunate. I've worked with a lot of millionaires and even a few billionaires. And so I've been very, very fortunate. I've been mentored by some great people, and I'm very grateful for that. But when I was a kid, I didn't know anybody that, you know, had kind of broken out of working a ton of hours in order to just meet the basic needs of the family. And so my mentors, I met at the library. People I've met like Zig Ziglar, Brian Tracy, and I'd bring home the vinyl records and I would listen to those. So now we have Audible, now we have YouTube, things like that. So find your mentors either in person or online or in books, but constantly be putting positive information in your mind. Okay. The next one is doubling down on what works. You know, the nice thing is we only have to get wealthy once in our life. We only have to find one path that's starting to work. So it's okay, I think, in your 20s and even in your 30s to meander until you find that path and say, you know what, this is fun for me. I enjoy it, and I can see how I can become more valuable over time. This is the right path for me. So once you find that path, double down on it, work hard on it. I think that's another secret. Also, I think output is important. Another one here is output. How much are you putting out into the world? How much value, you know, whatever it is, if you're making cogs, if you're making physical goods, if you're making digital goods, if you're a salesperson and you're making calls to potential clients, I think output is really important. I think a lot of the reason that sometimes people struggle to see success, even when they're really good at what they do, is they underestimate how much you have to put out in the world, because a lot of this is a numbers game. So you've got to put a lot out into the world in order so that you can get lucky that 5% of the time, and that 5% is a big enough number. Okay, let's keep going. The next thing, I'm a big fan of learning, so constantly be learning. Think about yes, leveling up your skills if you can do that. For me, it's new ideas give me energy. It boosts me up. I like to be thinking about new ideas almost on a daily basis. But then new frameworks, new ways of looking at life can be a game changer. There's a guy by the name of Eric Partaker. He's a CEO coach, a very expensive CEO coach. I can't afford him full-time, but he had a little short course for under $500 that I signed up for. And he shared with the group a framework that I hadn't heard before. He wrote a book, I believe it's called 4 Alarms. You can get those ideas from that book as well. But just this idea of identity shifting, as, world's greatest dad after 5 o'clock, world's greatest employee at 9 a.m., Arnold Schwarzenegger, world's greatest fitness person at 6 a.m. when he goes to work out. So that new framework was a game changer. It's one of the frameworks that helped me, that I look back on the past 12 months, and I'm very grateful for. So constantly learning is another one. And then the most important one is something I learned in business school. And it's kind of funny that I learned this in business school, but I did. And one of my professors, there was a class called Touchy-Feely, which is finding out more about yourself and what makes you tick and what's important in your life. I think it was called Creativity in Business was the real name, but we called it Touchy-Feely for obvious reasons. But one of the things that really stuck with me with that course was he said, do that which is easy and fun. And I think it's so easy for all of us to think that work has to be hard. It has to be a grind. When I first became a family financial advisor over 20 years ago, after the first 2 or 3 years, I came home and I told my wife, I think I found my life's work. This is just so meaningful for me. I really enjoy doing it. I'm good at it, and I enjoy all the aspects of it. So, and frankly, that phrase, do that which is easy and fun, as other opportunities came into my life later, I said, no, I'm going to stay put. I really enjoy doing what I'm doing. So I'll leave you with that one. That's a really important one. Do that which is easy and fun. And on that note, I have another video that talks about doing that which is easy and fun, which is 8 things to stop doing as you approach your 60s to enjoy your life more. I'll see you in this video. Bye-bye.